is up, ladies and gentlemen? It is time for the show. Hope everybody's doing good. And man, there's been a hell of a lot of great things to go on this weekend. Uh, we had some fantastic independent wrestling go on. We'll talk more about that on Thursday. But let's talk about this past week in WWE and AEW. Uh, the big news out of the week: CM Punk losing to John Moxley 3 minutes and 1 second on AEW Dynamite right at the 9 o'clock hour. So, as a person outside the bubble, championship matches are given an hour of time, right? So if it starts at 9 o'clock, you have that whole hour you could feel could go on. Now, knowing there's more to be done on the show, whatever, it kind of becomes irrelevant. So it gives you that perception, the allure, if you will, that it could go for 60 minutes. Now, lasting 3 minutes and 1 second, with Punk going out the way he did, a lot of people are saying, "Oh, it's a work, oh, it's a shoot, or it's a this, or it's a that." Realistically, we don't know. We're all just kind of guessing at what it may be. In my opinion, there's a couple of things here that I found interesting. Now, I brought up a point. I brought up a couple of points for this. One point was, well, CM Punk's still hurt. This was the easiest way to get him out of the title off of him, onto somebody else, when he can't deliver a pay per view quality matchup to begin with. And he's scheduled to defend at a pay per view. That's point one. That's personally what I believe. Now, that's one. Other points that could be brought in as valid are as follows: Punk did the job for Moxley in wherever, Cleveland, whatever, wherever he's from. Yeah, in Mox's hometown. With that being brought up, you have to now look at Moxley getting it in his hometown with that job by Punk. 3 minutes and 1 second. Did Punk not want to do the job in Chicago and lose the title in Chicago? Was this a Bret Hart situation that they avoided? I don't know. I say Bret Hart. It's not like the contract was ending or whatever else. It's not like Punk's leaving or was the plan or what anyway. It's just a concept. There's that one. He legit did get hurt in the match. The match was going okay, and they thought he was fine, and bam, he really did get hurt. And to all the morons out there who don't understand contact sports, allow me to clarify. Punk injured his left foot. He kicked with his right foot. A roundhouse kick involves plant foot on the ground and opposite foot on, on the side and coming up and across. So with that being said, all that weight being on there and the twisting of his body, he very likely could have injured that. Let's see here. Elliot Popston says, I have a theory. Okay, lay it on me, guy. Or would you prefer me to send you an invite and you lay your theory out right here for everybody? Oh, man, I just noticed something. My bad, guys. Let's fix that real quick. Boop, there we go. Haha. I had the wrong background up. So, Elliot, if you want an invite, let me know. I'll send you one, and you can tell me what you think happened. We can go over all that good stuff, man. John Matthews, how you doing, sir? Saw Mr. Matthews out there yesterday, um, tearing it up, but we'll be sure to be talking about that on Thursday night's Indie Spotlight, where we cover the Indies. That's the primary focus of that show. Let's see here. I'm here, brother. How are you and everyone? Ricky Morton, Robert Gibson, the greatest tag team of all time. Let's talk. Oh, I'm not against that. Let's see here. Hang on, Elliot. Copy the clipboard. All right, the invite has been sent. We'll have a guest here in just a moment. When he arrives, I'll immediately bring him in and, we'll discuss this. So that'll be fun. In the meantime, between time, let's see here. All right, man. Representing the Lowdown Popcast, it's Mr. Elliot Popston. How you doing, sir? Oh, can't hear you, bud.
Well, hold on.
Hey, there we go. We got you.
Cool, man. Well, yeah, so my theory, not to be confused with Austin theory. I think it's one of two things. I think he either A, legit got I'll turn it this way. There we go. It's better. I think he either legit got injured, which is a possibility because of the issues he's had with healing and stuff. Or he's not injured, and he's coming back healed. Imagine, I saw this the other day. I kind of chuckled. What if Punk makes a heel turn on a heel turn? Like he turned his heel, so he's turning heel.
Okay. So you think him losing the belt and fighting from underneath? Now, do you expect him to be at the pay-per-view with this?
If he's not injured, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've read multiple things where they've like, hey, multiple sources I've read have said he's not injured. They said it was actually Mox's idea to win, become the quote unquote undisputed champ. And then Punk come back at All Out as a heel or anti-hero. And they'll be in Chicago, so Punk will even get a bigger heel. Punk comes back in Chicago, it's a bigger Punk than we've gotten anyways, right?
Yeah.
I mean, let's be real. Punk does his best work as a heel.
He does.
Always has.
Yeah.
And the fact that he'd be coming back that way in Chicago's going to give him a huge pop. So that's kind of my thought. And the reason I say that, I think Punk comes back in Chicago. Kind of the whole, hey, it was a fluke thing. Blah blah blah. And Punk wins it back, and then we get MJF.
Okay.
Ultimately, you want MJF versus Punk, in my opinion, to pick up that whole storyline from the beginning. Yeah. Long-term storytelling, right?
Yeah.
If Punk doesn't break his foot, that's the storyline we have.
I kind of would rather see the Eddie Kingston story follow through before I would the MJF story, but that's me.
Well, and there's
a babyface challenging a heel babyface chase, out of Kingston would be what, in my opinion, would be more compelling.
Well, and there's legit heat between those two, anyways, and has been for who knows how long.
Yeah, Ring of Honor.
But what you keep running into is the fact that Eddie doesn't know how to control his anger. So it's prohibiting him from moving up.
Yeah.
You know, had the incident with Sammy in the back. He got suspended.
Sammy should have been suspended as well, in my book.
And they both have come out and said, "Hey, Eddie's come back and said, hey, I was wrong. I should have never hit the guy in the back like I did."
Yeah.
Sammy's come back and said, as professionals, normally we'll discuss, hey, yeah, I won't say that, or hey, yeah, I will say that. In this instance, we didn't. So I was kind of under the impression that maybe everything was good to go. But at the same time, Sammy also knows Eddie's always had a thing when it comes to his weight.
Yeah.
So, I'd love to see an Eddie Kingston run. You had Eddie Kingston and CM Punk at the All Out Chicago last year, which was a good match.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry.
No, not
That was Eddie Kingston and Miro at All Out. But you did have CM Punk and Eddie Kingston here recently. I thought
it was about 8 months ago, I think.
that was Double or Nothing.
Yeah, it was like 8 months ago.
Yeah, but so I think that's kind of my thought. It's kind of what I'm hoping too. I'm hoping Punk's not injured for the sake that I don't want anyone to be hurt, right?
Yeah, number one, don't want anybody to be hurt.
But I'm kind of intrigued about this whole trios tournament too, because I did not expect Dark Order to beat House of Black.
I don't see Dark Order beating Kenny and the Bucks though. I see Kenny and the Bucks being the inaugurals here.
So here's what I think you're going to end up getting with that. I think what you have is
Hangman with the Black Dark Order.
I think in the finals you have Dark Order versus the Elite. Hangman turns on the Dark Order and turns Elite.
They keep taking from that group. There's no group to work with any longer. You know what I mean? Like,
Hangman's friends with the Dark Order, but he's not part of the Dark Order.
But you can only butcher a faction so much before they become pointless.
You got their original four. You got 10. You got John Silver, Evil Uno, and Alex Reynolds.
Okay.
That's their four. And who knows? Maybe that doesn't happen, but I could see that happening. And then you have the Elite with Hangman, and everything, or who knows? Maybe Undisputed Elite is healthy by then. Maybe there's so many different things that could happen, and this is happening across the board in wrestling. Like, there's so many different possible storylines.
Yes, variables.
Yeah. And dude, wrestling's just in a good place in my book.
Oh man, it's fantastic. It's so great to watch everything every week at this point. Like, Monday Night Raw is really good again, and NXT's getting back to being decent again. AEW, I still struggle a bit to make it through the 2 hours, but case in point, as much as I didn't enjoy the Punk Moxley match because of how it ended, you know what I mean? Like, it ended too quickly, and it was like all this build up for a letdown. I was kind of let down, not by the finish, because I could give, I care less who wins, but more like just the build up for the match, and this is what we got. It's like expecting to see a Marvel movie and you get a 3-minute cartoon.
See,
I'm not into it.
I absolutely love that. I love that happened. I love the fact that they made Moxley look an absolute beast in that match. Whether he
It's
whether Punk got legit injured or not, Moxley looked like a beast. Somebody who was unhinged, you know,
yeah.
and he some people talk about how John Moxley isn't marketable, this, that, and the other. I like Mox. I like him as a champ. Is Punk a bigger name? Sure. But I like Mox as a champ. I'm a Blackpool Combat Club.
I agree.
So
The main event of Dynamite did absolutely nothing for me. Absolutely nothing for me. That's not my style at all. Like I get wrestling's a variety show and that's cool. The main event didn't do absolutely anything for me.
The trios match.
Yep. It did nothing for me.
Man,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
that's it's not my style. It's your style. And that's why we don't agree on that. And that's my same issue with AEW as a whole. A lot of it's not my style of what I consider entertaining wrestling. The ballet dance that went on for 7 minutes back and forth between the two guys where they kept flipping over each other and landing on their feet and back and forth. Like, yeah, that is so athletic. It's great. It doesn't do anything for me.
Reversals,
If I
man.
wanted to see
Reversals.
Right. All right, look. I will put it to you like this. I would rather have seen John Davis and freaking Drew Adler knock each other's heads off for 25 minutes than I would have watched that.
So here's my question.
Okay.
Would you have if that was traditional style chain wrestling, reversal after reversal, would you have been okay with it?
If you're implying more like Bryan Danielson versus Bret Hart or Bret versus Owen, yeah. It's more, to me, that's more the sport of professional wrestling.
So, to me, then this is kind of how I look at it. Because wrestling's evolved so much over the past, 30 years, 20 years, 10 years. Because it's evolved, yeah, stylistically. So the dancing around, like you said, to me, that's just another form of chain wrestling. It's reversal. You have two people who are known to be high flyers, known to be agile, athletic. And instead of reversing an arm bar, you reverse a hurricane rana and land on your feet.
I get it. I get the absolute. I get the analogy here, but that doesn't. Like I say, it still doesn't. It doesn't pique my interest.
For me,
that's the way to put it.
For me, it's just like I'm like, holy crap! Will Ospreay is very, very talented.
Oh, I no doubt these guys are talented. That's not the point either. It's not to say that they're not not talented. It's not to say that they're not entertaining because the crowd's loving it, and that's what matters. The crowd loving it. Well, I'm just one person sitting here who's not into it. Now, we've got a boatload of comments, but one of them that just came in that's quite interesting. Chase Emery. He said there was no wrestling moves in that sequence. How is that evolved chain wrestling? It was more flips and tumbling. That's just a point from Chase Emery.
Yeah, well, my response is tumbling and flips not part of wrestling. No, I mean that's just my thought. I mean you see people finish with a 450 splash. Is that not wrestling? You see people, Eddie Guerrero,
That's
Frog Splash. Is that not wrestling?
yes, but there was a lot more sustenance than what we saw. When
I mean,
Eddie Guerrero would do a lot more than just that.
and I agree with
And
that.
so, and even so would Mysterio.
But you still have in that segment what you had, and this is just me. You had, I mean, it's not like they'd never locked up.
Well,
They did lock. They did lock up. Wrestling move.
yeah, I get
Yeah,
what you're saying.
right, and I understand. It's not everyone's cup of tea, and that's fine. But man, I love seeing athleticism. I love seeing. Give me something technical. Give me something high flying. I don't care as long as it's entertaining. Um,
Right. It just doesn't like I say it doesn't pop me.
and
I'm not the crowd, you know.
I, you know, I expect United Empire to lose to the Elite. Um, you know, I expect that. I'm excited about it because been legit heat with Kenny and Osprey for a while.
Yeah.
Um, you know, you can tell Kenny's not 100% yet, but and I know people don't like Kenny Omega. They
I,
don't.
I, I
They
got
think
more respect for him than I do a lot of people over there because while he does do some of that psycho athletic stuff, he also will legit he'll rip you apart. He will stretch you. He will manipulate you.
yeah,
And that's why I'm not I'm trying to think of how I would put him. He's more like an acrobatic Triple H, if that makes sense. In my book, the way he thinks in
yeah.
the ring, you can see it. His ring psychology is fantastic, and I agree with that wholeheartedly. And I'm not a big Kenny Omega fan, but his ring psychology is fantastic. The manipulation, the body part attack, or he's like an aerobatic Randy Orton, or somebody along those lines.
Well, and
I,
if you think, I don't know, I've never seen, and this is just me thinking, and this is me quickly thinking back now. Not saying he never has, but I don't know of many times where I see Omega like go off the top rope.
no, he does the suicide things on occasion, right?
I mean, I would think so, but I don't remember. Like when the last time it could be because he's been out for so long that I don't remember. So uh, I'm just being honest. But yeah,
Right. Now, to one of your points earlier, Cole Maccabee actually spoke on this. The building a beast works for like a Brock Lesnar, not a Moxley. Just his opinion.
well,
I see what he's getting at there.
yeah, I don't think they're trying to build a beast. I think Moxley could easily be compared to a modern day Stone Cold Steve Austin.
More of that I agree with. He,
He don't give two flips about anybody. He went out there to prove a point. He was tired of being the interim champion.
well,
Um, and
beast wise on that roster band, it's Hobbs. Powerhouse Hobbs is probably the guy for that role.
yeah, I mean, and they got Parker Boudreaux's coming up. Everybody's comparing him to Brock. I don't like the guy. I think the guy's lame.
I wasn't impressed. I was not impressed. I've seen him a couple times, and I'm just not impressed.
I hope.
I was hyped for him too. Man, I was hyped when they hired him in WWE. When I heard he was coming to AEW, I was like, "Oh shit, I'm gonna get to see him work," and I was let down.
Yeah.
I'm thinking a grappler is gonna rip somebody's arm out of socket and beat him over the head with it. Show me something to get invested in. Nope, not quite.
I would agree with you though. Powerhouse that's what it is. Powerhouse.
Yeah, Powerhouse Hobbs.
But I mean, I'm not saying they're trying to build Mox to be the beast like Brock Lesnar. I think they're just trying to make Mox look like a champion that can run through people if he has to.
I like the modern day Stone Cold comparison. I'll go with that. Let's see
Uh,
here. Chase did add something. Chase added, "That's not chain and mat wrestling. You can't compare no struggle, but amazing athletic performance. But it's totally different. If you're into that stuff, you're into that stuff."
so uh, I get what he's saying. And I'm not saying it's chain and mat wrestling.
Yeah,
I'm saying with how wrestling has evolved, you could say, hey, that's a form of chain wrestling. I
it's
mean,
well, it's catch as
I,
catch can, right?
what's that?
Isn't it called like catch as catch can or some shit? Something.
Sure, sure.
I can't. You know what I'm talking about? The old phrase they used to use back in the '90s. It used to be like catch as catch can wrestling. Gorilla Monsoon used to say it.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
I where that came from in this brain is beyond me, but okay.
So when I think chain, my mind goes to audio and sound, right?
Yeah,
That's what my mind goes to. Because we daisy chain speakers to get together and
yeah,
stuff like that, and it's link and link and link and link and link. I mean, it's just to me, it's having a steel chain versus having a gold chain or any other type of chain out there. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Um,
Well, and speakers would be trying to chain ohms to make sure we
exactly.
match resistance.
I mean, so again, I'm not saying it's your traditional mat chain wrestling. I understand the differences in the two. I'm just saying people could draw the comparison that hey, it's a form of. Um,
Right.
but that can goes against a non-traditional that completely goes against a traditionalist point of view. It's just my thought, but
Well, like I say, I get it, and at least I've been trying to give every product a chance to get into it.
sure.
I've been struggling with Impact more than I have AEW, but and I'm not sure why that is. It's just not been too much on the appeal for me.
Well, and speaking of Impact, you got the Good Brothers who are pretty much about to be out of their contracts or their contracts are up.
Yeah, but where are they going to go? Back to New Japan?
I mean that's a good question. I mean, do they? I don't think they come back to. Sorry, my dogs are acting dumb.
You're good.
I don't think that. Some people have said, "Hey, welcome them back to WWE with open arms."
Nope.
Um, some people have said, "Hey, don't be surprised if they don't show up at AEW now, since they had that since they were gonna there's a rumors were back when they first signed with Impact. Rumors were that they were offered a contract, but Doc showed up drunk to the interview or something like that. So when that happened, they're like, "No, we're not. Hey, you can forget the contract."
Between that and then what's that other dude, Machine Gun Anderson? Didn't he have like a
Well,
slew of personal issues? Like,
I mean, hey, Bay, to be honest, I haven't kept up with them like that.
well, I mean,
Um,
this was even when they were in or leaving, departing WWE.
oh,
They were
so I know he I mean, like I know his wife and his wife's Japanese. I believe. What are you watching? His wife's Japanese, if I remember correctly, and I know they both absolutely love and adore Japan. So I don't know if they. I mean, they were well known in New Japan, big name over there. I don't know if they go back over there and join Bullet Club over there again with Jay White. Um, big possibility. I mean, so I don't know. There's been some people want to see them in AEW.
yeah. I'm just not. I'm not interested in seeing them back in the WWE. At you know,
For
I'm
me,
just
if
not.
for me, the only way to bring them back to AEW or to bring them to AEW, excuse me, only way that's a viable option is if they they've got to figure out these shows, man. They have if it extend Rampage to 2 hours or something. Their roster, their rosters are just too deep.
What I've said is this: I appreciate that AEW wants to give their fans their money's worth, and they want to do an episode of Dark, and they want to do Dynamite, and they want to do Rampage all in one shot, and that's 5 hours worth of stuff, right? That's a long freaking day. You aren't anywhere. You aren't at a NASCAR race. You aren't at a football game. You aren't anywhere for that long.
Here's the thing. It's much longer than that. Dude, you have Elevation is an hour. They do Elevation. That's an hour. That's an hour show. You have Dynamite, 2 hour show. Rampage, hour show. You have Dark. Dark is normally 2 to 3 hours. I mean, so they'll normally open the doors and start at 7, or 6. Man, it's at least a 5 or 6 hour. Yeah, I mean, like you said, 5 or 6 hours.
Right. That's insanity. I don't like that at all. What I believe they should do is this: if they're worried about the size of the venues, then they stick with sizes of venues that they know they can pack out. I would rather see somebody at Madison Square Garden I would rather see them at what was the old ECW arena. I'd rather see that slam packed than I would Madison Square Garden spread the hell out. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's like, hey, I'd much rather see people in the Carolina Coliseum or the Bowplex in Charlotte versus Time Warner Arena, right?
What's the Time Warner Arena?
Time Warner Arena, isn't that where the Charlotte Hornets play?
I don't know.
Oh, Spectrum Center. Center. Sorry.
Okay, yeah. There you go.
It used to be Time Warner Cable. Spectrum.
Yeah. Spectrum bought all that.
Yeah.
I get what you mean. I would like I said, I'd rather see a jam packed arena that's a little bit smaller, than I would see them get something that they can't fill in.
Yeah, well,
and I'd rather see them do it 2 a week.
Yeah, and that's why I mentioned the Bowplex, because Bowplex is it's like a little hockey arena now. So minor league hockey team in Charlotte Checkers. Bowplex is where they've had. That's where they've had the. That's where they had. Oh, was it Fighter Fest? Fight for the Fallen. They had Fight for the Fallen there. They had one of the Battle of the Belts there. It's a more intimate venue, not really big. You have Colonial Life.
You're getting too far away from your Wi-Fi. Yep, you have officially walked away from your Wi-Fi and froze up live on the show.
I'm back.
All right, cool.
I'm back.
Oh, so yeah, exactly. And you make it 2 shows a week. Does Rampage need to be live? No, it doesn't. You could have it going on at the same time as SmackDown and then air 2 hours immediately after SmackDown.
Sure.
Or you could move it to Thursday or whatever. Ring of Honor wise, put Ring of Honor either before or after, Rampage.
One thing I saw with Ring of Honor that kind of intrigued me was, and I kind of agree with this, that hey, why don't you move Elevation to a straight Ring of Honor show? And if you get a TV deal to where you can put that on TV, put it on TV.
Well, there's that. There's also, definitely. I'd be fine with that. Tape Dark in front of Dynamite. Tape Ring of Honor in front of Rampage. Or
3 hour event. Boom, perfect.
Exactly. And 2 a week at that point. You're not burning out your talent. They don't have to be at the other one if they don't want to. You don't have to have the champ at every show. I hate when companies feel like that. The belt has to be there at all times. It doesn't.
Yeah,
It's
I think it's good to have. I think it's good to have a title defense on every show
yeah,
of some sort.
a
Um,
title, not the
yep,
title.
yep. There's rumors right now. It's been circulating that come October, um, AEW is launching an all women's show. That is an in ring show, not a drama or reality show. It's an in ring show. So we'll see. We'll see
I
what
don't know what
happens.
that is. I mean, like WWE did with the all women's pay per view.
Yeah. I just read that earlier today, where rumors are circulating that um, Tony Khan is going to announce an all women's wrestling show, an episodic in ring show starting in October.
So like Stardom.
Yeah, it's it's a wrestling show like SmackDown, Dynamite, and so forth, but it's all women.
Okay, that could be cool. Oh, like wow. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. That was Shane who popped in and said that. Your co-host, the other half of the Lowdown Popcast, the Shane event himself. By the way, congratulations on your guys' show from yesterday.
I appreciate it.
Yep. Yeah, I
Appreciate
know
it.
you guys. Yep, you guys were at one, and you guys were at one in Camden. I was at one in Marion. Man, it was a hell of a weekend for wrestling. Actually, I heard every show this weekend that occurred yesterday. All of them had phenomenal rave reviews everywhere. I
Yeah.
heard great things come out of every show.
Yesterday was good. It was long. It was a long-awaited, anticipated day. It's a good day. We had a good turnout. I think we all kind of wish it would have been a little bit better. But there's some history in Camden, and we had over 300 people show up. So it was a good day
Yeah,
for sure.
I saw the pictures. I saw the posts. I saw some of the videos. Um, as always, fantastic job handling the mic. So
Appreciate it, man. Next show
and
September 10th, Taylor Plantation. Cheap plug.
yeah, uh-huh.
The
Next show, next show
Tag Team
September
Combo
9th.
Classic.
Yeah. The next show September 9th in Silverados, followed by September 10th in Union, followed by I
Yep.
mean, I can do this all day. I don't want to do
Yep.
this. It takes too long.
So, man, I appreciate you let me hop on here with you.
Hey
I'm
man, no
gonna
problem. Have
I'm
you been
gonna
watching Monday Night Raw at all?
I have been. I have been.
Okay.
I admitted this on the last podcast. I completely missed it last Monday night. But I have at least been going back and so I don't read the dirt sheets. I go back and watch the playbacks.
Okay.
The highlights and stuff of each match and stuff. Um, you know, Gargano returning I think is huge.
Yeah.
I've liked how WWE has handled their returns so far.
Right.
I like the fact that they're not hyping anything up to try and get viewership. They as regard to someone returning, um, there was no alluding to Johnny Gargano. It's one of those things they come back from a segment and all you do is suddenly you hear his music, see his Titantron, and get to hear the fans react. And to me, that's gold.
Right.
So,
They did the. I mean, they've done it over and over again. I thought the Dexter Loomis spot on NXT was good, with him and Indy, and then he walks out and gets arrested. That was awesome. If you didn't get to see that, it was like they
yes,
had the SWAT
I
team
did see
surround the
that.
building.
I did
That
see
was
that.
cool.
And teased the way, which it teased the way reuniting because now you have you got
Gargano,
Gargano
Indy.
back. Yep.
Yep.
Uh,
I like the fact that Gargano laid out Theory. I like
I
that.
did too.
Yeah, man.
Um,
That hit the right spot.
I'm wondering. I'm anticipating the time where you have Champa turn on the Miz. I feel like they're building up to that.
Can't
Uh,
wait.
and then you have a hopefully a reuniting of DIY, and maybe a tag team title run. I'd love to see that. I'd love to see DIY with Street Profits. I'd love to see them with the Usos.
New
Um,
Day, Viking
um,
Raiders.
I'm hoping Viking Raiders. I'm hoping they release that whole "Hey, we don't say war on TV" thing, and go back to the War Raiders. I've never liked the Raiders or the Viking experience.
I thought that one
Um,
was done myself.
so I'm hoping War Raiders return eventually, especially under Triple H. Um, yeah, man. There's several good tag teams that I would love to see. I've enjoyed all the Uso and Street Profits matches. I'm just waiting for them to let Street Profits get one over,
Yeah.
and I hope they haven't ridden the wave too long with that. So there's a legit pop when they win.
Yeah. I think that's kind of what happened with Liv,
Yeah.
to be fair. I think that's what happened with Liv Morgan. They waited too long, and now here we are, and it's
Well,
soured.
well, the thing is, they kind of tainted her run as champ because they allowed her to tap out,
Yeah,
and
that
it's
didn't
just
help.
one, and the ref just didn't see it, you know. So now, finally, after what 3 or 4 years of Ronda Rousey, fans are finally getting the Ronda Rousey they want. You
Yeah.
know, not this nice lady on the mic who's the baddest woman on the planet. No, she's like, listen, I'm the baddest woman on the planet, and I do what I want, say what I want, and this is what fans
Right.
have been wanting. So,
Right. They're finally given the correct one.
yeah,
Then you've also got to take into consideration Liv Morgan probably should have taken the strap from Charlotte back 2, 3 years ago, and we
yep,
would have been fine. There's another person that we haven't seen in a while who we're just waiting for her to come back.
yep.
Um, I haven't heard anything about Sasha Banks and Naomi in a bit, so
I, I'm thinking they're signed with WWE. Thinking
okay.
they're back. I'm thinking they're back, and I'm thinking they make an appearance once the new tag team champions are crowned.
That makes sense. And then we end up with the Razor Ramon, Shawn Michaels. We get ladder match would be awesome
Yeah.
because Io Sky and Dakota Kai in a ladder match. It's on.
Well,
Sasha
and don't
Banks in a ladder. Yeah.
don't forget the history with Banks and Bailey.
Yep. That's a whole nother ball game. God, man,
So
that Iron Woman match was fantastic.
yeah, it was good to see Bailey back.
Yep. I was happy to see that. There's been you and I haven't chatted too much in a while. But man, there's just been a lot of good stuff going on since like SummerSlam. It's been a definite changing of the guard. The tide is definitely changing. And the one thing I've tried to relay to people who aren't involved or know much at all about this business is a rising tide raises all ships. So if there's an insurgence of popularity, whether it's for one company or the other company, even if one goes up, the other company's coming right with it anyway, by
Competition
proxy.
competition makes everybody better for a time.
It's it's not just competition in this case, though.
Well, no,
What I'm
I'm
saying, yeah,
what I'm saying.
that too.
Yeah, for a time it does, but what Tony Khan and AEW has to figure out is all right. How do we how do we make sure that our ships don't miss the wave that this is riding on?
Probably compelling booking, um, would be a start. Or the compelling booking's probably not the proper. More so,
I I think AEW just needs to stick to their niche.
their niche market.
Yeah.
That's a good call, but they've got to do something about the clusters of matches. The way matches turn into clusters at the end of them. The constant run-ins, the constant melees with 30
All right.
people.
All right. So if you're talking about run-ins, Simon Miller keeps a good tab on this on ups and downs. And AEW does not have as many interruptions or run-ins when it comes to compared to their WWE counterpart. Just an
In
FYI.
in 3 versus 7 hours per week. 3 hours versus
Well, no,
7 hours.
that's not even comparing NXT. That's
Oh,
comparing major versus major.
so three
Raw
versus five,
3 versus 4. Oh well, I guess
3 versus 5.
yeah, I guess Raw
Monday Night
is
Raw is still 3 hours.
yeah, but you still get more wrestling on Dynamite and Rampage.
If you call that wrestling, yeah.
I mean, you still get all right. Well, you still get more matches. I'll say that.
In ring action. Yeah,
In ring
especially
action.
when the matches last 3 minutes, you get a bunch more.
No, I mean, but it's one of those things that I think they have to realize one how big WWE is, and money is not going to buy you to the top.
No, it's not.
Although the Cons may have more money than the McMahons,
They're not
you,
willing to spend it.
well, either whether it's that or just the fact that hey, WWE is a globally recognized and known company and has been for 20 or 30 years easy.
Yeah.
And just continues to expand into different WWE insert country name here markets. So
Right.
I think AEW's got to pick their poison. Hey, we can either continue to chase WWE or we can focus on what we are good at and try and make what we are good at better, which means, hey, everyone's not going to like our product, and that's okay. You know, I think that's some of the scary similarities I see with AEW and WCW
Yeah.
is too worried about competing with WWE versus focusing on, hey guys, this is what we're good at. Let's perfect this. Let's make this
That
better.
that and this could be, just my opinion. I'm not a fan of the production on AEW, but I never have been.
Yeah.
I don't like the way it's filmed. I don't like WWE's 75 camera shots in 37 seconds. I hate that. That irritates the hell out of me as well. So don't get that confused. But as far as image quality and the quality of I guess the cameras, to me, AEW now looks like WCW did. It's got kind of this gray haze across it. It's not as clear of a picture.
Well, because of the amount of haze and stuff they're using in the arena. Yeah, I can see that.
So that means we need to do something different. It's much clearer of a picture, and the picture looks so much better on WWE. It's almost like I'm not going to say it's like watching Marvel versus DC because that's an inaccurate comparison. As
You
far
also
as storyline wise, yeah, it's close, but it's not when it comes to
you,
the
you also
actual
you
product.
also got to look at the type of lighting they do on their rings.
Yeah,
You know,
Lucha Underground was kind of clear though. I liked Lucha Underground. I remember that, and
yeah,
then
but in all honesty, Lucha Underground, when it comes to production, it's probably pretty bare minimum.
it was, and then even old Ring of Honor, newer age Ring of Honor with the guy. What was his name? Something in the boys. What was that guy? You got to know who I'm talking about. Dalton or whatever, and the boys. That not that crap. Earlier on than that, back Adam Cole, Kevin Owens,
Yeah,
uh, El Generico and before them even, back with Raven and Punk, and that era of Ring of Honor was fantastic wrestling. That
Well,
was great stuff.
yeah, and
In the
I think
later days, they went more to the wild and out, weird, gimmicky, hokey, carny, and it didn't fit in my boat.
I think no, I like the production. I like production of both. You know, I have an appreciation. Um, I like the tunnels that you have, the right and left tunnel.
You got the heel in the
Um,
face. I like
heel,
that.
heel in the face. I like that. I like the fact that everything's not just a giant LED board. Um, LED boards are amazing, and there's a lot you can do with them. But at the same time, for me, I'm just like, ugh, I'm over the LED boards. Hey, give me just a curtain, guys, and a little and a big spotlight that just shines on the guy, and I'm good. Um, you know, I have an appreciation for both. Live
Well,
event wise, they both put on a good live event. Um, and I just think I think WWE is getting back to some stuff that they know it's good at. And not and to me, with Triple H at the helm, they're not trying to overstep anymore. It's like, hey guys, we're good at this. Hey guys, not saying wrestling when we're when we're World Wrestling Entertainment, it's kind of stupid not to do.
right.
Um, hey guys, we're gonna eliminate banned words. Okay, but
Yeah, that made a big difference.
man, let me go. I'm gonna help.
All right.
And I appreciate your time.
Appreciate you, man. You have a good one. It was good talking to you. We'll catch up soon.
All right, man.
Yep. Guys, be sure you check out Elliot and Shane on the Lowdown Podcast. Drops every Wednesday morning, 7 a.m. I listen to their episodes. They're fantastic guys. Great friends. And, they work for another wrestling company here in the Carolinas. Good people, good show, good to go. But, as we've been talking about with the whole WWE, AEW comparisons back and forth, I just don't get down with AEW as much. And it's nothing against them. It's just me. Um, it is what it is. But Monday Night Raw, we saw a ton of good stuff come out of Raw and SmackDown this week. They are building fantastically towards the upcoming pay-per-view that they've got. They've got Clash at the Castle coming on very soon. They've got Worlds Collide with NXT. You've got just a lot of good stuff going on out here. So there's a bunch of things that need to be kind of eyeballed when it comes to these. So here's hoping for everything to go the correct way. Edge defeating Damian Priest was fantastic. The way they set this up. It was a good story told. And are we going to get Beth Phoenix back in the ring again? That's another possibility. The show opening up in chaos. So the hooks were set into the audience and the crowd in the opening segment because it started off with a melee. It started off between Rollins and Riddle beating the brakes off each other. Here we go. So you had that. Then you had Trish Stratus come out talking her jive. We go to Dakota Kai and Io Sky versus Alexa and Asuka. Unfortunately for Alexa Bliss and Asuka, Dakota and Io won that, and they're heading to the finals for the Women's Tag Team Championship Tournament. Finn Balor versus Dolph Ziggler. Great matchup. Two guys I feel are very evenly matched and were able to put it down. So wonderful work from both of them. Kevin Owens beating Chad Gable. I'm a big fan of KO. I'm glad they're starting to do more with him. There's ebbs and flows for every character out there. There's ebbs and flows for every worker out there. Right now, we're on a good flow for Kevin Owens, and I hope they continue that trend. I would love to see KO versus Karrion Kross at some point because I think that'd be a good matchup. A dominant dude versus a guy who likes pain. Let's freaking go. Bailey defeating Aaliyah. Ray Charles could have seen that, and he's dead and blind. So give me a break. But we got what we got. The Miz and Ciampa defeating Bobby Lashley and AJ Styles by DQ. Okay. I get it. I'm ready for this to be over. Oh, man. I'm still tired from yesterday. Yesterday was a long day of, involved in the professional wrestling world, and I promise you will hear much, much more about this come Thursday night on the Thursday Night Indie Spotlight. Thursday Night Indie Spotlight is exclusive to live stream, so it's Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. The Wrestling Wire, is available on all your major podcast networks as well as Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. So there's that. I'll be glad when they get done this Tommaso and Ms. Mess. I agree wholeheartedly with our guest who was on just a few minutes ago, Elliot Popson, in that regard, because I like Tommaso on his own. I'm not a big Miz guy. I respect the Miz for what he does, and being so long in the career without so many injuries, he's very safe in the ring. That's a good thing because it means he can have a longer and better career. Gargano returned and then laid out Theory down with it. Edge beating Damian Priest was yet again another great spot. That was the end, man. That was the end of Monday Night Raw. It was a great show. Raw has been on a serious uptick, and I'm ecstatic that that's the way it's been going. It means better things for everybody moving forward. The better every show is, the better it's going to force every other show to be. So, like we were just talking about, competition's going to raise the bar up, and you got to, get up there to it. That also means we should be getting better things out of Impact. And hopefully we can figure something out with the NWA. I'm still sticking to my guns. The NWA needs to buy out Impact Wrestling and take over the TV time slot and just do better. Do something better with that. What doesn't work for me, and this is what doesn't work for me, I like the fact that AEW is on TV. Perfect. Fine. I don't like where AEW is on TV. I think the NWA should get the TNT TBS deal, and AEW needs to go to something more extreme. Another channel that's more into the edge product, whether it be maybe an FX or HBO, something where they have more freedom to do things. And if, for God's sakes, if it happens, let them have a streaming deal on HBO Max, and all the episodes are unedited. Yes, please. And the pay-per-views are available there. Yes, please. There's money there. That's good. Damn it. That's good deals. That is good deals. I'm telling you, that's a good deal. That would be great. I'd be all about it. Let's see here. NXT. So you had Braun Breaker and Tyler Bate agree to a championship unification match. We know why, because NXT UK is going away and NXT Europe is starting soon. So I figure it's because the contracts are changing. while they may have had partnership contracts where, oh yeah, we can bring you in, but you're exclusive to this brand or whatever, they may have had that. The cool thing is, damn, really? They could bring them over and put them under new contracts, which they did, or they could terminate their current contracts. So, when in my book, when NXT Europe starts up, you're going to see guys like Trent Seven and a handful, hopefully Flash Morgan Webster and Mark Andrews. You'll see all these guys and ladies that were released get another shot and do more stuff. All about it. I think that'd be good stuff. So there's that. Gallus defeated Briggs and Jensen via count out. What a piss poor way to end that night, or in that matchup, but whatever. Let's see here. The Waller effect. Give me a break, dude. We don't need another Miz TV. Cameron Grimes defeated Xavier Bernal. I didn't care about Xavier Bernal, and I still don't. Blair Davenport wrecked Indy Hartwell. Blair Davenport is a beast. So while I'm not a fan of Indy losing because I like Indy Hartwell, I get this. And now Blair is in the. I think Blair gets put in the main event with the Miko Satomura and Mandy Rose matchup. That's interesting to me. But it's also a way of keeping somebody strong here, folks. Hear me out. Let's say that Mandy Rose pins Blair Davenport. Miko Satomura didn't lose the match, but she lost her title. Kept her strong. That's a very real possibility. Dexter Loomis returns for Indy Hartwell. Like I say, we were talking about that earlier. The Dyad defeated Legado del Fantasma. I don't like those guys as the Dyad, but okay. I preferred them as GYV. I thought they were awesome. Tyler Bate, beating Von Wagner. Thank God, because Von Wagner to me, he's got a lot of work before I'm going to be okay with him doing a lot of stuff. Wendy Chu defeating Tiffany Stratton in a lights out matchup. That was pretty awesome. I was happy the way it ended. So, yet again, a killer night for NXT. We went into AEW Dynamite. We've already talked about a little bit of it. In-ring conversation with Jericho and Brian, and they were talking about this. I'm excited for that matchup. I think that's going to be a great match, so I'm all about that one. Jake Hager jumping Brian Danielson is kind of stupid, but whatever. I get it. You gotta make it a little bit sweeter and underhanded tactics, but realistically, these two are fantastic wrestlers. There's no reason in doing this. To me, this is AEW's problem. Inserting extra bodies in a story that don't need it. That's my opinion. They don't need to do this, but once again, my opinion, and I'm not always right, guys. Let's see here. You had, let's see, Lethal rolled up Dax Harwood's trunks and pinned him. Yeah, so you had that finish. Once again, decent match, not bad. So many, yet again, Sanjay Dutt with a distraction. Here we go. So that's 2 segments in a row, additional people being involved. 2 people, 2 segments, additional people being involved. Thunder Rosa in the back. She has to relinquish her title, but they're doing the interim women's thing. I'm cool with the interim title, and I tell you why. Boxing, MMA, all that stuff. if an injury occurs, it works. It makes sense to do an interim champion. And then you got to settle the score, an automatic. You get an automatic when the person's healed, automatically ready to. They're the number one. It's the first thing out the gate. Nobody else is touching titles. Here we go. I'm down with that. I didn't like the way they did it with Moxley, though, because it felt like he just had meaningless, other than the Jericho match, other than the Chris Jericho match, he had meaningless matches throughout his tenure as interim champion. So I'm happy he's the overall champ, and now here we are defined, and we can keep going. Thank God. Let's see here. It's going to be Tony Storm, Britt Baker, Hikaru Shida, and Jamie Hayter in a fatal four-way to determine the interim women's champion. I am down with that. I love Jamie Hayter. I think she's a good worker. She is believable. Tony Storm, I'm all right with. Britt Baker's pretty good to watch, and then Hikaru Shida's fine. I don't have a negative opinion on her. So there's that. Let's see here. You had Billy Gunn versus Colton Gunn. Billy hit Colton. Stokely did something with the boombox. Colton connected with the Colt 45 on Billy and pinned him. It's like, wait a minute. Another finish with another person involved. Another segment and another additional person. Yep. You got it. There it is again. So Swerve Strickland and Keith Lee come out to even it up, and they help Billy up to his feet. And then they stare down with the Acclaimed. Let's see here. You had Kylan King versus Britt Baker. Let's see. Britt Baker took her out with the lockjaw. Then they got to talking trash about Thunder Rosa. Let's see here. Now this makes sense because they're setting up for the four-way. You had Baker talking trash, Tony Storm come out, Jamie Hayter followed her, and then Sheeta sprinted to the ring. So I that makes sense because it's on its way to the four-way. Four-way, four people. Now, Rebel was there, but Rebel's always there. They're going to do a tag title matchup at All Out. It's going to be the Acclaimed versus Swerve in Our Glory. That should be a fantastic matchup. AEW World Championship, CM Punk versus the AEW Interim World Champion, Jon Moxley. 3 minutes, 1 second later, Mox is your undisputed champion. We find out that Jungle Boy and Christian Cage will be going against each other at All Out. Absolute Ricky Starks goes out there. Let's see here. Yep, it's just going to be Hobbs versus Starks at All Out. Moxley saying my time is now. Interesting choice, John, of words there. John, as you were referred to, the week before. John. I find that funny. And if you don't, I'm sorry. You need to check your pulse because that was definitely punny. Death Triangle versus United Empire. like I said earlier, this is not what hit for me. I did not enjoy this because it's not my style of match. But par for the course. And you know, the United Empire advance. So I'm not cool with Death Triangle being out. I I would have liked to see Death Triangle and the House of Black some more. I think that's fun. But yeah, what we're dealing with is what we're dealing with, right? Moving on to Friday night, because yeah, what the hell happened with Impact? Something happened with my recording of Impact, so I didn't get it. I got No Surrender from like 2011 or some shit, but I didn't get the actual Impact show from Thursday night, so I got no idea what occurred, and I'm not going to look it up because I'm not going to look it up. Um, let's see here. When it comes to Friday Night SmackDown, we were Ricochet and Happy Corbin went at it. Ricochet defeated Corbin. Good piece of good match. And, you know, while I am not a fan of what they're doing to Baron Corbin at this point, I'm fine with this because we got to be going somewhere with this. And eventually they're going to unleash Corbin. Corbin, in my opinion, does have the ability to be something special. He is not a bad worker. He is a very intelligent person. So he's good on the microphone. He's got a good personality. His character, his charisma in the ring's good. He's got a decent character. I prefer the Lone Wolf over Happy Corbin, Sad Corbin, or any of this other. This definitely this hokey shit. He looks like somebody's grandpa, half drunk in Boca Raton or some mess. Karrion Cross taunting Drew McIntyre. You had Natalia and Sonya Deville moving on in the last chance fatal four way, beating Shotzi and Xia Li, Dana Brooke and Tamina, and Nikki ASH and Doudrop. So good for them. If anybody else deserved to be in the finals, it's them. Or that was their last chance. So now I think they had to go again. That's what it was. They had to go again. Sheamus and Gunther meet eye to eye. This was a cool segment. If you did not get to see it, please go check it out. I'm sure you can find it on, you know, WWE.com under results. I'm sure you can see video clips from it. It's fantastic because you were able to get things like, you know, what they're doing with Pete Dunne, Butch, or whatever, and Ludwig, whatever the hell his name is. Just good stuff here. I enjoyed that. There, that's going to be a killer freaking match. I am so excited for that for Clash of the Castle. I think that's what I'm looking for more toward. Anything else at that night is that match. I believe, and now this is a me thing. You noticed it's been kind of quiet for what they're doing with different people, right? I know you're getting some bait every now and then on Liv Morgan and and Shayna Baszler. I think they're keeping Liv off, and she's going to go up against Baszler, and she's going to like rip that arm thing off and be like, "I'm fine. Screw you, bitch. Let's do it." And then we're going to get some ass whipping. Then I think that's going to be good. Raquel Rodriguez and Leah defeated Natalia and Sonya Deville to get their spot in the tag team finals. So now it's Dakota Kai and Io Sky versus Raquel Rodriguez and Aaliyah. In my book, this is simple. It's gonna be Dakota Kai and Io Sky, and then we're gonna get the return of the uh Banks and Naomi and then we're going to go from there. Guys, if anybody, I see you guys in the crowd. If you have anything you want to say, add, question me on, send it because I will talk all about it. Earlier, the conversation between myself and Elliot, we were focusing more on what each other was saying than the comments being brought in. If there was a couple of comments that were brought in, but not all of them were brought up. Before I continue any further, what was my thoughts on the biographies that A&E is doing on wrestlers for WWE? Wesley Flasky brought that up, and I find them great. That's good stuff. It's good TV. We, the fans, always want to be behind the scenes. We think we want to know what's going on. We think we want to know everything. So this gives you a glimpse behind the scenes. There's also some of this that can be done in the ring from time to time. And when you can pull it off and it works, when the crowd goes, getting something we weren't supposed to get. Oh my goodness. We're not supposed to hear this and we're not supposed to know. And all of a sudden, it's like, yeah, you are. We're allowing you to hear this because we want you to think you're getting something you're not supposed to know. And it's fun. It's fun for, well, let me rephrase that. At least it's fun for me. I don't know about anybody else, but I find it fucking hilarious. So I love it. But yeah, I'm with you. Punk and Mox was a letdown. One night only this will never happen. TNA versus WWE and MSG. That is a what? There's not enough to watch on TNA to make that a viable idea. Ugh, come on, bro. New Day tricked the Viking Raiders and knocked the shit out of them. Drew McIntyre defeated Sami Zayn. Roman Reigns delivers a message after the match. They beat the living tar out of his ass and then sat on him with a chair and choked him out. God, that's a familiar sight these days. See here, Friday night, Rampage took place. You had semifinals for the trios titles. I find it funny how we ended up with a trios title tournament here and a tag title tournament there at the same time this is going on. Really? Is it coincidental? Or did it just kind of happen? I think it was, I think this was somebody needed to answer something, so they did. Because you could have done this other ways. Either show could have done this other way. They could have done battle royals. They could have done whatever else. But I digress. They both went with bracket tournaments that last for weeks. So the cool thing is they built weeks of compelling TV that you're going to want to see the next and what happens next and what happens next. And because you want to know what happens next, you're going to watch the next show. So it's viable. It makes sense. Oh, let's see here. The Dark Order beating the House of Black was a big surprise. I didn't expect that to happen. Let's see. Angelo Parker and Matt Menard walked up and started talking trash to Hook. Okay. But what's going to happen when Hook starts wrestling longer than 3 minutes? What's going to happen when his matches actually have a back and forth? What's going to happen when his matches go for, a long period of time? 15, 20. What kind of psychology are we going to get out of this? What kind of endurance does this kid have? What kind of gas tanks he got? A lot of people make a lot of claims here, but I'm genuinely interested to see what the kid can do. I loved watching his father. I want to know what it's going to look like when he's on his own and really doing his own thing. That's where I'm interested at. Wardlow wrecked Ryan Namath. For those of you who aren't keeping score at home, that's Dolph Ziggler's brother. Powerhouse Hobbs versus Ashton Day. I mean, he wrecked him. Spinebuster pin. They called it sending a message to Starks. Let's see. Another backstage segment. Athena attacked Jade, Jade Cargill. Let's see here. Then we had Ortiz and Ruby Soho versus Sammy Guevara and Tay Mello. Are they going to create intergender tag titles next? Like, is it going to be mixed tag team titles next? I thought WWE was going to do that at one point. I'm glad they didn't because that's awkward. And you end up with these weird odd couple scenarios, and there's just like things that don't feel like they're going to go great. And this is one of those scenarios. I'm not a Tay Mello guy, so or a Sammy Tay guy or Guevara Mello guy or whatever spin you want to put on it. I'm not a big Sammy Guevara fan. I think he's good in the ring. I find him to be talented, but I don't find him to be entertaining, if that makes sense. Tay Conti was fantastic to watch. When she was more of a badass, this new gimmick shtick isn't it for me. Yet again, not a fan. But to each their own. Let's see here. They talked about the trainer's room. Punk said his leg gave out during the match, but that's all you got. Ring of Honor World Title match on AEW Dynamite. I understand it's all owned by the same guy. Shouldn't it be two different shows? We're kind of just having this conversation with Elliot. I don't like cross branding. I remember back in the day, like Vince and them were doing it with like Smoky Mountain Wrestling, and here comes the Smoky Mountain titles or the NWA or whatever. I didn't like it then. I don't like it now. I'm not the biggest fan of it. I don't even think I can see a title being defended in the indies. It kind of, I can see that. But at the same time, your heavyweight title is your heavyweight title. It's the number one thing on your show. It should not overshadow any other thing on any other company show. It should be the number one thing on your show at all times. But it doesn't need to be the number one thing on somebody else's show. I don't like that. That's the type of stuff that makes me kind of makes me kind of sick. Not into it. I don't like it. Working with other companies, whatever. Who cares? Being able to differentiate, one from two and two from three and this and this and that. It's fine. But that's not where we're at here. That is not where we're at. There are different ways to do different things, and you can have so much more. You can have so many more things going on. I mean, I could come up with some things that I think would work out, but is it worth it? Is it worth it? I don't know if it's worth it or not. Let's see here. You had Claudio retain over the Natural, Dustin Rhodes, and what was a pretty good matchup. Overall, man, like I said, not a bad week of wrestling. For anybody keeping track, this weekend coming up, we've got All Out on Sunday the 4th. We've got Worlds Collide going on. We've got all kinds of good stuff going on, man. I mean, it's going to be a great weekend of wrestling. I'm excited for this. And when is Clash at the Castle? I don't forgot already. I know Clash at the Castle is coming up. Anybody out there know? Let's see here. If anybody's going to answer me. Oh, Clash at the Castle is Saturday at 1 p.m. So next Saturday, man, at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, we get a wrestling show. Fan-freaking-tastic. It's going to be a great weekend of professional wrestling. So you've got that. Then we've got Worlds Collide, the NXT show. Let's see here. I was trying to find something about it because I know it's coming. So I'm really interested to see that. I'm actually hopeful that the WWE reverts and starts using some of the old pay-per-view names and some of the older pay-per-view styles. Oh, big rumor that that just came out was that the WWE is looking at redesigning all of the belts. Not a few, all of the belts. That's fresh. That's a fresh rumor. I don't know how true it is. I try not to get too ingrained in the dirt sheets. I try not to read into too much of that crap. But if that's the case, good God, please, new belts. I'm all about it. New championships. I'm not against the WWE title the way it looks, but I would like more than just a big logo. More detail, more cool stuff to it. I'd be fine with that. I am done with the different colors of belts as far as that goes. One red and one blue, or one black and one whatever color of the show it's on. Miss me with that mess. I don't need it. Just give me good looking titles and I'm fine. I don't even care if they look different. I don't. They don't have to be the same thing with a different color. They could be black with a cooler logo or anything. I'm also like the Universal title. Like I get it, World and then Universal's bigger, but it's WWE Universe. So you've got the WWE, the company, and then you've got WWE Universe, which is like their fan conglomerate that they call it. So is that what the point is? Like you see what I mean? There's a lot of different variables here, ladies and gentlemen. Worlds Collide is what I am trying to find the details on. They meet at Worlds Collide, but they're not saying when Worlds Collide is. They're talking about it, but they're not saying when it is. I'm gonna have to like Google it or something. That's gonna be kind of annoying. Because I think Worlds Collide is going to be a fantastic show, whatever it is. Because there's a lot of stuff being called for that one. I'm just waiting to see when it is. Because see, Heatwave was awesome for anybody who didn't watch it. NXT Heatwave was good stuff. Is it the same weekend as that? As Clash at the Castle? Oh, or is it at the same time as I want to say it's the same time as the AEW pay-per-view. I really do, but I just don't have a definitive like written answer for it. I'm just gonna have to Google the shit, figure it out, man. I'm gonna try to see if I can get you guys some good answers here, because I wouldn't want you guys to think I don't know what I'm talking about, but I just don't have all the answers at all the times. WWE Worlds Collide 2022. Let's see, September 4th. Okay, so it will be done at the Performance Center. There we go. Final event, which for NXT UK, which will be relaunched in NXT Europe in 2023. So they're going back to doing the big segmented stuff. That's awesome. It's going to be both NXT and NXT UK. The show previous to that will be Clash at the Castle. The one following that will be NXT's Extreme Rules. So, yeah, on the 4th, the same day as All Out. Ooh, that's going to be a busy day for your boy. I ain't lying. I am excited for next weekend. It's been it's been a great week for wrestling in the past week. We've had some great things happening in the Indies. Tune in Thursday, 8 o'clock sharp. I'm going to have a special guest who I'm not going to tell you who it is, but trust me when I tell you, he's a very controversial person, generates a lot of heat, has a hell of a lot of opinions. It's going to be a real fun time. So be sure you tune in to me Thursday right here on Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. And we'll see you here for the Thursday Night Indie Spotlight. This has been The Wrestling Wire. Once again, I want to thank our good friend, Elliot Poston, as I have affectionately dubbed him, Elliot Popston. And they are from the Lowdown Popcast. Be sure to give them a check out. It was a great time this weekend, guys. I spent a lot of time with a bunch of good people and a bunch of good friends in the industry. Got to hang out and do some of those indie things. And like I say, we'll talk about that Thursday. So thank you once again for joining us here at the Wrestling Wire. And it's been real. It's been fun. Hell yeah, folks. It's been real fun. We will see you next time. Thus proclaimed, the Saint.